Hey guys, it's Sam's Geek, and today I'm going to be talking about what I dislike about each one of the major companies in terms of their, I don't even know how to phrase this, like their past mistakes. Like there's a lot of mistakes with each company, and I'm just going to go into the few that I've experienced. Now remember, I didn't own an original Xbox, so that's a big thing to know. Um, I'm just going to start off with Nintendo because it has the most stuff, and it's the, the consoles I'm most experienced with. So, the portables triggers. Since the Game Boy Advance SP, the portable triggers on every single one of the Nintendo consoles is horrible. Absolutely fucking horrible. These ones especially broke on me. My original SP, the launch one, and this red one, they haven't broken yet. But I don't really use it, so that's probably why. On the DS Lite, they broke to the point where I tried to fix the problem. I fixed it for a while, and then I just completely broke the button off because I got frustrated because it kept breaking, and I would just press in on the button like that. Then that eventually just broke completely, and it's a problem with the DS Lite as well as the original DS. I never heard any of the problems on the Game Boy Advance, the original Game Boy Advance, and so far no 3DS problems from anybody. But that console's still young, so we'll have to wait. Now I'm going to bitch about the classic controller in general. The classic controller in general sucks. I'm sorry, but holding it like this was absolutely stupid, and these buttons here made no fucking sense. Reaching over like that to get the buttons was bad. The analog sticks were too close to the buttons. The original controller was so bad. Just bad, bad, bad. The D-pad even felt funny, and that's odd for a Nintendo controller because Nintendo usually has the best fucking D-pads in the world. And I'm going to talk about its update, the Classic Controller Pro. This was a lot better, but it still has some problems. The dead zone on these analog sticks are horrible. Same with the original. The dead zone is too fucked up. And I feel like the spaced. I thought the analog sticks needed a little bit more spacing, but they spaced it too far apart. I mean, it just felt really unnatural, and the analog sticks I felt were also just a bit too long, but that's just the same problem I have with the PlayStation controller. I also hate these stupid fucking design here that they have, this octagon. It's not even octagon, I don't know what the fuck shape that's called. Alright, I'm too lazy to count the sides. But that's a fucking horrible idea. Rounded, please. It was a pretty cool idea on the GameCube, but as it's gone on, it's just gotten worse, especially for these type of analog sticks. And it wasn't even that great on the GameCube, to be quite honest. Speaking of the GameCube, the Wavebird. The Wavebird fucking sucked. I mean, it was really cool to have something different than the original GameCube controller, and the wireless was great, but it interfered with your phone lines. Like, it would just fuck up your entire phone system. I don't know what it was about the signal it sent out. I haven't done that much research, but it would make the phone lines buzzy, it would make loud noises, it was just ugh. And I basically had to use this only when my parents weren't home and we weren't going to receive any important phone calls, or when someone was just on the internet, because I had dial-up back then. Now I'm going to name Nintendo accessories that I owned that sucked. The Game Boy printer. The Game Boy printer was a cool idea and concept. You could print out Pokemon for Pokemon Yellow, and it was really cool, but the paper ran out. When the paper ran out, it costed like, I think, $10, $20 to replace that fucking paper. And not only that, but I had frequent jams with it, and it was loud as fuck. Really loud. And it ate up batteries like a motherfucker, too. Like, it was an overall flawed idea, but I saw the benefits of it. It was interesting, to say the least. Now, I gotta talk about the what other Nintendo accessory that I didn't like. Well, pretty much it was all good until the Wii, of course. The Wii Zapper sucked. It was just a giant plastic thing, and it didn't really help. And honestly, a lot of third-party blasters, including the Nyko Power Shot, were better. I mean, it was just ugh, and it lost support almost immediately. It was very hard to access, and once you had the remote in there, it was very difficult to take it out. That was my major problem with it. Putting the remote in there was difficult, and then taking it out was difficult. The Nyko Perfect Shot pretty much got it down. So if you're in the market for something like that, just get the Nyko Perfect Shot. I mean, you do get Link's crossbow training, which was pretty cool, but it's honestly not worth it. Nope, not at all. And I also got to say that the Wii Speak was shitty. It was a very, if you don't know what the Wii Speak was, it was the Nintendo branded microphone for the Wii. It was horrible. It's basically kind of what the Kinect is if you use it as a microphone, but 1,000 times worse with a way worse fucking microphone. And you could hear people echo off the TV and Wii Speak chat, and in Animal Crossing it wasn't really that useful. I never really used a game that used it besides Animal Crossing, so I'm assuming maybe in the Conduit it would be better, but based off my experiences with the Kinect on Xbox Live, I would have to say it would be probably awful. So, the Wii Speak was a horrible idea, and Nintendo implemented it way too late into the system's life, and so little games took advantage of it. I think it was like the Conduit, one of the NHL games, and Amazon Crossing. What the fuck? Animal Crossing. Amazon Crossing. I don't know what I was thinking. And I also gotta say the Wii Motion Plus. It should have been in there from the start. Felt like a really tacky add-on, and it should have just been built into controllers from the start. For a long time, they were just selling it as a separate feature, like the Rumble Pack was for the N64, and it was really annoying. Not only that, but it made the original strap not really fit well. And then if you wanted to take it out, I mean, they did provide you with a strap. The silicone thing, if you wanted it. But Nintendo stopped that program after a while, like getting free silicone things. And then also, with the extended thing on it, it was really hard to plug things in to the extended Wii Motion Plus silicone pack. So that was a problem. Oh, and to go back, I forgot the N64. Sorry. The N64 had really bad reset button. That reset button, I don't know a single person who has an N64 and actually used it a lot that their reset button wasn't fucking jammed. It got jammed like after the second or third use. It was fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I also have a hard time finding people whose N64 analog sticks weren't broken. They broke like immediately. It wasn't even funny. I hated that shit. I couldn't believe it. It just sucked. Absolutely sucked. Now, let's move on to Sony. Sony, for the PlayStation 1, my major complaint is the disc tray. This is the PS1. I never got the original PlayStation 1, the big bulky one. But this is a problem with me and a lot of my friends. This tray would eventually just break. Oh, to go back to Nintendo, same with the GameCube. These things, these opening up like this, they fucking break. Absolutely break. And it really, really sucked. And I just don't like, and also the eject button and the power button often jammed or broke. It was just a very rushed system, I believe, just to make a PS1 for people who didn't have the PS1 and during the PS2 era wanted to buy. Because I didn't know if I wanted to get a PS2 during the GameCube era, because I was a GameCube PC guy. And then a lot of my friends were getting PS2s and they were getting games, but I didn't know if I wanted to get it, so I got a $50 PS1, played a couple of PS1 games like Bloody Roar and GTA 2 and just a lot of fun shit. I decided, hell yeah, I'm going to get the PS2. And honestly, it wasn't that great of a decision because I never really got the chance to buy a lot of games for it because I bought it in like 2003, and I still played the shit out of my GameCube more, and I only ever got like 20 games for the PS2, which was a mistake because there's a lot of good games out there now, and I'm just too lazy to go back and try it. They'll all be HD collections anyway, so why bother? And now the PlayStation Move. My only bitching about the PS3 will be concluded in the controller section. Alright? The PS Move. I just don't like the overall like feel of it. I mean, it's too light. First off, I feel like this thing needs to be a bit heavier, and then the button arrangement on it is very annoying. You can't fucking see that. There we go. Square, triangle, circle, X. I don't know how they could have done it better, but they could have done it a lot better. I also dislike how in every move game you have to press the move button instead of X, because X is just like natural to me, so I just press X. And it's, I don't know, I feel like the whole idea of move could have been done better, especially software-wise. And now I gotta go with the PlayStation controller. I fucking hate the PlayStation controller. I've never been a fan of it. It doesn't feel good to me, and it's just overall shit. Now, the dead zones on the analog sticks are the most obvious one. Now, of course, they're not as bad as dead zones as on the classic controller, obviously, but they still exist, and you can see it in games, especially first-person shooter games. First-person shooter games show it the most blatantly, and I just hate it. I hate the feel of the controller. I feel it's too small. I feel the PS3 controller is too light. I feel that the marshmallow triggers suck, and on the older PlayStation, they had like, I feel like the marshmallow triggers only make one improvement, and that it's easier to hold. Because before, my fingers down here used to always hit the border that they had under the original PS3 controller, and it really sucked. The charge time on the PS3 controller is terrible. The battery life is absolutely terrible. I mean, I barely even use my PS3, and I have to charge my controller every time I use it. It has maybe 5-6 hours of battery, and even on new ones, when I first got it, it got like 5-6 hours of battery. I eventually just turned the rumble off, because the rumble on this broke. It fucking broke. And that increased the battery life by 2 hours, which was good. But the rumble on here broke, and I don't know how. I've never had that happen with any other controller, even PlayStation 2 controllers. I've also found it that the analog sticks on all the PlayStation controllers, except for PS3, the analog sticks break. They just fucking break. Luckily on my PS1 and PS2, luckily on my PS3 controller they haven't broke, because these are like $55 fucking dollars. But my PS2, my PS1, I've had to go through multiple controllers. And it really sucked, because, I don't like paying for controllers. So, that really sucked. I've also had problems with button jams on all three of them. Luckily, I was able to fix it on PS3. On my PS2 and 1, weren't so lucky. I've just had so many problems with the PlayStation 3 controller. It's honestly my least favorite controller of all time. I don't like the way it feels in your hands. It feels like something that was forced together, which it was. It was rushed out, put analog sticks on the bottom of the PlayStation controller and called it a new controller. And I just never, ever liked the feel of it. But, whatever. Now, let's move on to the PS3 box. The fucking box is terrible. The original box, the new ones are great. They learn from their mistakes and they copy the 360 and the old PS2 styles. But these ones sucked. You had this fucking ugly-ass strip with the Spider-Man font on it, and it just looked terrible. And then, you see this PS3 logo? They got so lazy instead of changing the font, they had to put the PS and then a giant 3 under there. And it just looks awful. And PS3 just fucking graded into the top here. You can't see it, but the Spider-Man font PS3 is just, boom, engraved in there. And it just looks horrible. And then after a while, they age and the clearness goes away and it starts getting foggy, which they could have prevented by making another color, but they had to go with clear. It was just an awful idea to begin with. And the PS3 box is just, ugh. I hate bad design, and I just feel that this is one of the worst designs to ever embrace gaming. And then on the newer ones, they even put a huge strip up here, and it would say either only on PlayStation or has PlayStation Network. It was just fucking terrible. So you had this up here and then this on the side. It just looked bad. It's honestly like the worst design I've ever seen, apart from N64 boxes with those green and red colors, but no one kept the fucking box anyway, so it didn't matter. Now to move on to Microsoft. Obviously, the red ring of death, you can Google that up, and the disk scratch error, but that isn't really too bad if you're not an idiot. You won't be moving your console around. But I gotta say, it's happened to me once, and it was with the Halo 3 second disc. I moved my console on accident because on the charge cables, which I'll get to later, um, that's just what happened. I pulled it, and the console slid off and scratched the second disc of ODST, so I can't play Halo 3 anymore, which sucks. Well, not really. I never liked Halo 3, but I was in the middle of that marathon thing, the Heart Marathon, so I had to continue my entire like Heart Marathon thing that I was doing playthroughs with people on the stream. I had to do that all on ODST, so I couldn't really play Halo 3, so I could only play with three other people, which wasn't that bad, but the lag on ODST Firefight was kind of bad, and streaming it kind of sucked. But whatever, you know. And aside from that, I gotta say about the controller, the D-pad, obviously. I mean, the D-pad, you poke around on it, and it accidentally inputs shit, and it sucks. It just sucks. Now, I also have to say the Vision camera sucks. Because it was just horrible quality. Absolutely terrible quality. It had very few supported games, and the only thing cool about it is that you could take pictures, which was never added to the fucking Kinect, which I don't understand why. That would be a great fucking idea to let me take fucking gamer pictures with the Kinect. Why do I need a shitty old Vision camera to do that? And then, you know, the Kinect also doesn't support any of the Vision camera stuff like Uno. So I don't get that. Because the Kinect is a much better fucking camera. But it's not supported as for all the Vision camera stuff. I honestly think in the next update that they should make the Kinect compatible with everything the Vision camera had. I don't know if they can do that, but it'd be great. I'd also don't like the fact of the breakaway. Like, this is a double-edged sword. Because the breakaway cable would have prevented me from pulling my 360 down from scratching the disc, and it would have prevented me moving my 360 and causing a disc scratch. But at the same time, the breakaway cables suck because they always pop out. Like, you move it and it pops out or something, and you always lose those motherfucking ends. You always lose them. And you gotta look forever to find them. It just sucks. And it's a double-edged sword because they are a very good thing to have on a wireless controller, and they do help save a lot of things. But I wish they were like longer or something, so I wouldn't lose those little ends. I don't know how I went around here, but that just sucks. That's all I really have to say about all those consoles. But yeah, those are my experiences. I mean, yours may differ. I know a lot of people have a lot more problems with the Xbox than I do. And I know that a lot of people have a lot less problems with the PS3 than I do. But that's what really sucks. And the only other things I can think of besides those things is the PS3 title updates and the download times. But I've talked all about those before. So you could look up previous rants. But that's what I dislike about all three of the major console making companies.